This is the podcast TV show that gives you the facts, food, and fitness. Join me as I travel around in my RV interviewing people from all around the world via online and in person, discovering the 8 dimensions of wellness so that we can find a way to live in complete balance. Check that out, guys, the final product. If you're hungry, you got smell-o-vision, I'm getting it. There you go, I wish, right? Time to get going. Welcome to Wellness on the Go. I am your host, Jason Cronan, and enjoy the show. Our first guest is an author of a book called Bet on You, speaker, coach, and carnivore. He also has a podcast called Become Your Own Superhero. I'd like to welcome Laban Ditchburn.
Jason Cronan, lovely to be here, brother. Lovely to see you. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. How are you doing today?
Bendito. Bendito means blessed in Spanish for a non-Spanish speaking audience. Muy bendito, or bendita if you're a lady.
Excellent. Yeah, I can see. I poquito español.
You and me both, brother. You and me both.
But before we dive into it, last time I spoke to you, you talked about that you run 100-mile races. Tell me a little bit about that and how does that work for you? It seems like you're a pro at it.
Well, just full disclosure, you've got the metric system a little bit obscure in my favor, but it's 100 kilometer, which is 60 mile, although they do feel like they're 100 mile long. I am considered an amateur ultra runner, and I've completed 3 100-kilometer runs. I've attempted 4. I was medically withdrawn out of the second one that I did 5 weeks after attempting my first one. Of which I sustained an iliotibial band injury, which was probably the closest thing I would describe to what childbirth might feel like for a male. So I don't mean to ruffle too many feathers, but damn, that hurt.
I did 60 miles. How do you train for that? How do you get started for a 60-mile run for everyone listening out there? Because I know you just don't run 1 mile and then run 60 miles the next day.
Well, I don't know that I'm the greatest example for this, Jace, because my progression from running started in 2018. I went from running 5 kilometers, which is 3 miles, to 26 miles in a fortnight, in 14 days. And I ran a 3-hour 56 marathon, my first attempt. I then ran a 50-kilometer 5 weeks later, which I did in 5 hours and 7 minutes. And then I ran the 100-kilometer in September of that year. And the traditional prep time for a 100-kilometer, I believe, is about 18 months for most sane people. But when you're dealing with someone who is incredibly impulsive and doesn't like to wait around, I kind of expedited that whole process. I think, David Goggins, for anyone who hasn't heard of David Goggins, he's an incredibly inspiring man and an ultramarathoner as well. I think he's part cyborg. But he always talks about that when you think you're done physically, you're only 40% through. So I've experienced that firsthand. And the body is far more capable than you'll ever give it credit for until you put it in a position where you've paid $500 to enter in an ultra marathon, and maybe don't start with 100, but maybe start with, a 50K, or if you've only ever run 1 mile, maybe start with a 10K. And put yourself out of your comfort zone, put yourself in a position where you have to complete it, raise money. You don't want to pull out of a race when you've raised money for charity.
Absolutely. And that's the best thing. Yeah, I've been to multiple races where I gave money and then ran the race for good causes. So did you start fitness in 2018, or was it way before that you actually got into the fitness world?
No, I've always been active in some capacity. I've been playing the game of cricket, which is not that well known in the US and Canada, but it's huge in India and the subcontinent, in England, New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa, Zimbabwe, and a lot of the African countries. But I was always overweight for a long time, and I had a major health breakthrough really in 2016 when I gave up alcohol, and then I gave up gluten, and then started to shift a bit of body weight. And in 2018 is sort of when I crescendoed with my weight loss, and I'd lost 60 pounds of body fat and put on about 20 odd pound of muscle at that point. and had just instinctively started wanting to run. Like I felt this internal drive to start running to work, which was only short and it hurt initially, but I just kept persisting with it. And then the upswing of momentum was really stratospheric. So I think the body was more ready than I thought at that time.
Absolutely. And genetically, you might be pre-exposed or actually built for exercise, which sounds like you are, because you jump right in and then you could run these races and you're just doing your thing. And
well, I was just going to say, if you look at the rest of my physique, I'm what you would consider very stocky. I'm about 20% body fat, about 85 kilos, which I think must be close to 200 pounds, and 5'8" or 173 and a half centimeters, right? I don't have an ultra marathoner's physique. I've got more of a line, maybe not a linebacker, but I don't know, maybe like a strong quarterback or something.
Or a sprinter. Yeah, sprinter.
Sprinter, yeah. And, but I suppose I'm evidence that there's no right or wrong when it comes to putting yourself out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. And in your bio, you said you were a carnivore. So tell us a little bit about what is a carnivore, and also how does that work as a diet? Because I know that's one of your main components when you speak to people.
Yeah, look, the carnivore lifestyle is not really a diet. Out of necessity in 2016, I had to eliminate gluten and refined carbohydrates out of my diet. I had an autoimmune disease for 17 years, which I was told by 20 different medical professionals was incurable. Multiple tests, endoscopies, all the works. And I watched one podcast with Dr. Chris Kresser, who's a functional medicine doctor on Joe Rogan's podcast. And he spoke about the link between reflux and gluten intolerance. And when I cut that out of my diet, it went away and it went into full remission. And as I started to delve deeper into this nutrition component, I started to learn more about anti-nutrients and lectins and phytates and salicylates, oxalates, that type of thing that exist in plant matter and don't really exist that much in animal protein. And slowly but surely, I ended up cutting all plants out of my diet for a period of time. And again, full disclosure, I'm not 100% rigid on this. I think this is something that should be used as an elimination protocol in a really beautifully effective way of figuring out what you are intolerant to. And there's a litany of reasons why the food that we consume, particularly in the Western world, does damage to us in ways that it never used to with our ancestors. And so by eliminating all of that other food, I was able to very quickly ascertain what I was tolerant and intolerant to. And in the process, I put on a load of muscle. My mental health went through the roof. My libido and sexual function all dramatically improved, like all the good things in life, right?
Exactly.
And I started achieving all these amazing, ridiculous things. My self-esteem and my courage went up, and I approached my now fiance in the streets of Melbourne, stone cold sober, and asked her out with the courage of 1,000 Spartans, like all these wondrous things happened. And it was all really the direct result of the nutrition.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the nutrition part, because most people don't realize that nutrition is a large part of your diet and also a large part of your overall health, like 80% nutrition, 20% fitness. It's a big part of it. And when you coach people, what kind of coach are you? And I saw that you do coaching. What style of coaching do you do?
That's a great question, Jason. Your audience will be very pleased to know I'm the world's best courage coach. And I teach people to take bold, massive, and courageous action. And nothing to do with health and well-being. I'm not a counselor. I don't listen to your victimhood stories. I teach people how to really put themselves out of their comfort zones when it comes to asking for what they want in life. And we should ask for help, not so that we appear weak, but so that we can remain strong. And we should keep asking for help until we get it. And so that's what I teach people.
That's perfect. Yeah, you got to know you're number one. I remember us talking about that, being positive about who you are and what you are, and just got to believe in it. And then also, what's your ideal client that you're looking for out there for coaching like that?
So the ideal client is someone who is sitting at home. They are comfortable. They're living a pretty good life. They're earning the money they want. They're in a job that they always dreamed about. They might be they might have the 2.4 children, but something is just niggling away at the back of their head. And it's something along the lines of, this isn't exactly what I imagined my life would be. And that will resonate with a very small number of people, maybe more. And I can help you get from that point where you are to achieving the life that you only ever read about in novels. And I do that by practicing only what I preach. And there's no finger waggling here. There's no telling you, hey, you need to do this. It's all practice what I mother flipping preach. And I can give you countless examples of the courage. And just to clarify as well, the self-appointed world's best courage coach relates to an affirmational commitment that I make. And so that when I wake up in the morning, Jason, I ask myself, how would the world's best courage coach attack the day? How would the world's best courage coach attack this situation? How would I deal with this challenge? And when you ask yourself that question every day, it keeps you accountable and it keeps you on that forward momentum. And that's what I show people how to do, how to get out of their own way.
And when you coach, is that online or is that in person mostly?
Predominantly online, given the situation we were living. I'm currently broadcasting from Playa del Carmen in Mexico. We've been living, my fiance and I, in Melbourne, Australia I've been there for 20 years, from New Zealand originally, but we've endured the longest lockdowns in the world, and we've had no opportunity to do any in-person anything for the whole time. Things are a lot freer over here in Mexico, but we've been driven to go online. So most of it is online.
That's good though. Online's the way to go. That's a lot of my business is online as well. And
yeah,
before we go on break, what is your definition of total wellness if you would put it into your own words?
Total wellness is mind, body, soul, spirit, family, light. It's everything that you think about, and maybe a couple of other things that you don't know about or haven't thought about.
When we come back, we will learn more about Laban Ditchburn's book, business, and podcast.
Are you looking to get in shape, eat better, and improve your lifestyle? Body Express Wellness Solutions will give you the results you're looking for. Contact us for your free custom wellness consultation. Check us out online at Facebook, Instagram, and our website at Body Express WS. We're elevating lifestyles and sculpting bodies of all ages.
We're back here talking to Laban about the importance of coaching and keynotes that he delivers. I was interested to see, how'd you come up with the book called Bet on You?
Well, great question. And I don't know when I think this will go out a month or so after we record. So it'll be out. It'll be available on every single Amazon site in the world, even Amazon India and a few other non-English speaking ones, Amazon Germany. And the book was inspired by a conversation that I had with motivational speaker Les Brown in May of 2020, right after the shit hit the fan and we're all forced into lockdown. I created a podcast series called Become Your Own Superhero. And Les Brown, one of the greatest living or dead speakers, came on as a guest of the show when I had about 10 subscribers. And he didn't know how many subscribers I had. I would have told him if he asked, but he didn't. And he inspired the book. And not only did he inspire the book, he wrote the foreword for the book. And I wrote the majority of the book in 6 weeks, from mid-May to end of June last year. I've since then hired a professional publishing business, Summit Press Publishing. For anyone who's writing a book or thinking about writing a book, I would highly encourage you to do that unless you are an English major at a prestigious university who knows how to put everything in there, because it's turned what was a really amazing creation into a masterpiece. And they're not necessarily my words. I'm really proud of what I put together, and it's going to help a lot of people. And who am I? I'm not a graduate from an Ivy League school. I didn't even finish high school. I didn't go to college. Grew up in abject poverty, but what was worse, I grew up with a poverty mindset, and I've knocked a lot of that on the head, along with the drugs and the drinking and the gambling and the philandering and the negative self-talk. And so that's what the book's all about. And it's there to inspire people to be brave and be courageous and, maybe not so feel so bad about their own life.
Absolutely. Most of the most successful people don't come from a college degree background, and they're the richest and they're billionaires. And a lot of people go to college and they make $20,000 a year. So it's
there's no hate. There's no hate on anyone that's been through college, and there's certain things that you got to do to be qualified. But I just think it's there for people that might be working in a dead end job, or they might be doing something that doesn't serve them well or isn't their purpose. And I worked in technology recruitment for a long time, for 15 years, even had a crack at running my own business, which was a total unmitigated financial disaster. But what it was a huge blessing in disguise, because it forced me into doing what I absolutely adore, and that's to be known as the world's most positively influential speaker. And then you got the world's best courage coach. So like my life is a daily miracle. And people listening to this, it's within you too. You've got the magic in there. You just gotta tease it out, put yourself in a position where you can draw this out and, become your own number one, whatever in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. Positivity is great. That's why I love speaking to you, because when I speak to you, you can feel the vibe of positivity coming through the computer right here. I got it.
It's a special plugin I got on Chrome.
Exactly. It's perfect.
But you're right.
And also in your podcast too. I know people listening out there, I love to promote your podcast. Your podcast, Become Your Own Superhero. Tell us a little bit about that. And are you wearing a cape and Speedos and everything?
Well, there's the photo behind me there with the superimposed cape. But the podcast really was just an opportunity to bring on really great storytellers that have an inspiring story to share that will empower and motivate and inspire people to go and do great things. And the guests are very varied, very diverse backgrounds, athletes and politicians and movie stars and motivational speakers and, some of the world's best authors. But I promise you one thing, whatever episode you watch, you will leave with more energy than when you started. That's my commitment to the audience. And that's just an opportunity for me to get the message out there and to interview people that have achieved, the direction that I want to go and achieve. And it's been 109 episodes since April 2020. It's, November 2021 now. And it's been 109 hours plus of some of the most unbelievable coaching with some of the most unattainable people on the planet. And it's changed my life forever.
That's awesome. I'm definitely going to check that out. And I was also on the website. I was looking at everything on your website. Really awesome website. Love the layout of it. I did see your blog on there, BYOS. What does that stand for everyone listening out there and watching?
Bring your own soup. No, become your own superhero. BYOS, hashtag BYOS.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Definitely, you have so much going on in your life, and you're traveling right now. You're doing this podcast from Mexico, and you're originally in Australia. So that's super, super great that you're able to get your word out there. You're going on your book tour soon, and I think you're on your book tour, you said, right?
Well, technically, I mean, this is promoting the book, inadvertently. So it's already begun. It'll be released towards the end of November. So, but by the time this episode airs, it'll be live and it'll be available on Kindle and paperback. But I've also recorded the audiobook, which I recorded in Germany, in Berlin, a couple of weeks ago, which was a hell of an experience in a good way. And Berlin is an amazing place, and I recommend people. So is Mexico as well, but Germany's pretty cool. So highly recommend.
I have family in Germany. I got to check it out and visit over there. That'd be awesome.
Sprechen die Deutsch?
No, but they do.
And I just want to say for everyone listening, just to cut you off, Jace, I think the work that you are doing, my man, is so inspiring. And I think you are almost annoyingly humble, in my opinion. For people that don't know enough about Jason's background, the work he does with disabled people and the rehab and he works about 1 million hours a week trying to help as many people as you can. So whatever you can do to support the show by sharing it with people that you care about that will benefit from. He's got more degrees than a thermometer and understands more about the human body than most people I've met. So I highly recommend that you learn more about Jason, his journey as well, because he's on the path to doing magnificent things. You already are, but even greater things. So
I really appreciate that. And I look up to everyone on the show, like your background and experiences you have really brings a lot of quality to our show, as well as just having you here and learning from you is a great experience and an honor, honestly, because I know that you have a lot of experience in many different aspects. And the biggest part out there, if people want to hire you, where they hire you and how they find you.
Look, best place to find everything that I'm all about is labanditchburn.com. Laban Ditchburn is a 1 in 7.5 billion name. And because I haven't been able to find another one, LABANDITCHBURN.com. It's got links to the website, the podcast, the book, the calendar link for coaching. And if this is something that resonates with you and you'd like to learn how you can take your life from wherever it is right now to hanging out with some of the most amazing people on the planet and calling them your friends, then that's the kind of stuff I'm all about. We're here for a purpose and a reason. And life should be filled with joy and fulfillment and purpose and lifting each other up and helping people. We're not here to be selfish. We're not here to take. We're here to give and serve. And that's what I'm all about. So I'm very grateful to be a guest on your show. And it's an honor to be on here with you, Jace.
Really appreciate that. And definitely, is there anything else you would like to share with us before we close out? Anything I forgot to mention?
No, look, I think you've covered everything. The one thing that I would say is one of the greatest pieces of advice that I've ever received. And it's about the removal of negative self-talk. And what that is I can't, I won't, I'm not good enough. I want you to stop today. I want you to stop talking to yourself like that. And if you really want to keep yourself accountable, get a jar. And every time you catch yourself saying something negative about yourself, put $5 or £5 or 500 billion Zimbabwean dollars wherever you are because of inflation. And you'll feel the pain of negative self-talk. And what will happen is it'll create an awareness about how people speak about themselves. And you'll learn very quickly who are the people that you want and who you don't want in your life. That includes family. And I can't stress this enough. We become like the 5 people we spend the most time around. And if you are to live the life of your dreams, to impact the people that you need and want to impact, you've got to surround yourself with people that are further down the line than you and that don't talk shit about themselves. That's my gift to you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that gift. It's been awesome having you on the show. Thank you so much for being with us and have a great fit day.
My honor. Lovely to see you, Jason.
Thank you, Laban, for being on our show today. I greatly appreciate your time and learning about you and also your book. I know being your own superhero is what everyone wants to be. For everybody listening and watching, please go out there and get Laban's book and learn how to be your own superhero. I'm live here in my backyard in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Coming up next, we have the Body Express Wellness Solution Tip. The Body Express Wellness Solution Tip is play with your pups outside. It's a great form of exercise. Also, play with your kids if you don't have pups. If you have kids and pups, get your kids to play with the pups and you outside. This is my buddy Ozzy and my buddy Riley. So check it out. Go for the ball, guys. Yeah, good work. One more time, Bubba. Right here, right this way. Yeah. Good job. Good job. Get him up. See, Riley loves to play ball, right, Riley? You love playing ball, don't you, buddy? Yeah, one time. Yeah. Woo. Good job, buddy. I'm gonna get you. I wanna get you. Woo. Oh. He likes running away. That's playing ball. As you can see, it's a great form of exercise. It's awesome to get a good workout, and it's great for the whole family. Just think, playing outside for 10 minutes a day can literally help you break your stress, lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol, and your blood sugar. Play with your pups and have a great time. Riley, come here, Bubba. Get the ball. He'll sit in the raspberry patches too. Come on, Ozzy, look at that. Come on, Ozzy. Come, buddy bear. Woo! Hey, Bubba. Yeah, I got you. Let me get you. Woo, 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 woo.
I got you, bud. Where you at, bud?